guys, it's Reagan and welcome to the start of another weekend reading vlog. This weekend, I have grand plans to do absolutely nothing. That is all I want to do this weekend. I had a pretty busy week last week and it was so much fun, but I'm definitely taking the opportunity to do a bit of unwinding and doing nothing over the course of the next couple of days. That being said, I have two books I'm really looking forward to reading, so I plan to do a bunch of reading, hopefully. I want to watch a lot of K-dramas, I want to sleep, I want to eat snacks, I want to relax, all the above. So hopefully that means I'll have a lot of bookish content to talk to you guys about. But without further ado, let's talk about the TBR for this video. So I am deviating a bit from my made TBR because if you saw my recent Come Book Shopping With Me vlog, I picked up this book and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it since. It is a new release, also has one of the prettiest covers I have ever seen in my entire life. But the first book I hope to read this vlog is The Ones We're Meant to Find by Joan He. This is said to be kind of dystopian, kind of thrillery, said to be really fast paced and just full of beautiful lyrical writing. The synopsis itself is super vague and I feel like I kind of want to go in knowing not very much. This essentially follows two perspectives, I believe, and two sisters. The first one is C. She essentially wakes up on an abandoned island, surrounded by no one, no life, outside of a rickety house for her to sleep in. She builds an android to keep herself company, and she has only one memory, and that is that she has a sister and she needs to escape this island to find her again. And the other perspective we follow is Casey, who is a 16-year-old STEM prodigy, and she lives a world away in like an eco settlement. I believe this is futuristic, sci-fi, thriller, story about sisters. I don't know. It just sounds really incredible. I've heard incredible things about it. I feel like it also might be a quick read, so I just want to kind of read this from beginning to end this weekend. From there, I also want to start Crown of Feathers. This is a reread for me by Nikki Powell Preto. This is also a sister-centered fantasy book, and I really enjoyed this when I read it a few years ago, and I want to continue on with the rest of the series, but I need to reread the first one to do so. This basically follows two sisters that live in a fantasy world where Phoenix riders and warrior queens were once in charge, but they've since been defeated, and the sisters have kind of gone into hiding. They dream of becoming powerful warriors themselves, but they themselves kind of begin to drift apart and follow their own destinies. One of the characters and one of the sisters we follows disguises herself as a boy to join the Phoenix Rider ranks. The lost sister reappears. Lots of drama. I'm looking forward to picking this back up because I really enjoyed it the first time I read it. But these are the two books I hope to read for this vlog. A good old-fashioned YA-filled reading vlog. But as I mentioned, it's Friday. I think I'm going to have a Friday evening coffee to start my weekend off right. So that's going to be the plan. I also started this K-pop reality TV show. Monica made me watch the first episode and now I'm very addicted. It's like, I don't know, it's like a competition show to become a K-pop group. It's just very intense, so I'm probably gonna watch some of that, eat some Cheetos, relax. It's Friday after all. I keep saying that. If you weren't aware, it's the weekend. Anyway, I'm going to drink some coffee now, so cheers. This is where Matilda and I intend to hang out. Cheetos. For the foreseeable future. I can't wait to sit on the couch for hours and do nothing but watch TV. Nice to meet you, Matilda. Bodega sandwich for dinner, and I'm still watching this reality TV show. Matilda and I just cannot stop. We cannot. Hello friends, I've pulled myself away with Matilda from my TV watching marathon, which was honestly lovely. I wanted to do that and I did, so crossing it off the to-do list. But now I'm about to start The Ones We're Meant to Find. I truly, every time I look at this book, I just stare at it for so long. This cover is truly one of the most stunning things I've ever seen, but I'm definitely excited to dive into this because, again, of the sort of vague synopsis. I love this sort of dual perspectiveness, and this sort of dystopian murky future is definitely calling out to me. I hope it kind of has like a winding narrative. I just want to be sort of confused and drawn along in this narrative tale and story, but we'll see. I'm speculating, which can be dangerous. But I don't know, I have high expectations for this, so I'm gonna start this now tonight, and I will probably check it in the morning. And oh my goodness, even the end pages are stunning. This book is just beautiful, beautiful. But time to read. Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. I'm up and at 'em, and I'm about to sit down and do some reading. I started obviously that book last night, and I read about 40 pages. I'm definitely really enjoying it so far. I want to read a bit more before I do my first reading update, but definitely entered with a lot of questions, which is what I was kind of hoping for. So I'm going to drink my coffee and read. Start my Saturday morning right after reading, of course, filming the last part of my video that's gonna go live tomorrow. So trying to be productive and finish this up, and then I will be back to reading my book. Hi guys, so I'm currently importing the footage I just shot, but I thought in the meantime I would do a bit of a summer haul. I'm thrilled to say I'm partnering up with ThredUp again, and they are sponsoring this video. I have been a longtime lover, longtime shopper of ThredUp. But if you're not familiar, ThredUp is essentially the world's largest online thrift store, and they essentially sell gently worn and honestly like new clothing across all of my favorite stores, from Madewell and Other Stories, Cezanne. There's just so much to find and discover on their site. I love personally shopping on their site seasonally, not only because it's really easy to sort by cut, style, color that you're looking for, but because I also constantly find current season or just last season items as well at better prices, as well as just a great opportunity to give second life to clothing as well. This time around though, I did try a new service of theirs, which is called the Goodie Box, which essentially is you take an online style quiz, you let their stylist know your size, what you're looking for, your favorite colors, your least favorite colors, your favorite stores. You can also link your Pinterest and your Instagram so they can get a feel for your own personal style, and they essentially look across all of their inventory and select 10 items and send them directly to your door. It's a really fun way to have a personal stylist shop for you and kind of discover new items that you might not always pick for yourself. Kind of a second set of eyes on your closet, if you know what I mean. It's super hassle-free as well. You essentially put down a $10 deposit and you only pay for what you keep. They also send a prepaid label, so it's really easy to ship everything you're not interested back. I ended up using this service and got a total of 5 items to show off today. I personally let my stylist know that I wanted summery items, dresses and tops. I really am into yellow right now, as well as I wanted some floral items. So I have all of that to show off today, and there are so many cute things at such great prices. Before I jump into the clothes themselves, I do of course have an offer for you guys, a special link to check out and learn more about their new Goodie Box service. I'll have both of these things linked down into the description. So the first 2 items I'm going to show off today are the 2 dresses I got, and oh my gosh, they're so cute. They definitely picked my 2 favorite stores for the dresses they sent along that I ended up keeping. The first one is, of course, from Madewell, and it is just this beautiful floral midi dress. This is a classic silhouette. It's so flattering, it's lightweight. It also has this really pretty shoulder detail as well. It's honestly stunning, fully lined. I remember when this was in stores, I think it was last season, and the price that I got this at is truly just unbeatable. But this dress was originally $120 and I got it for $40. And it's just like, I don't even think anyone even wore this. It feels brand new and it's just so beautiful. I'm obsessed. I'm so happy to be adding this to my wardrobe. But this is the first thing I got and kept within my goodie box. And then the second dress I got is just, I wish I had a tea party to wear this to, but soon I'm throwing one for myself at least. It's this dress from And Other Stories, and it's just this lovely kind of like sprinkle pattern, I would say. High neck, sleeveless dress. It does have an open back, which I think is nice, and it has a tie waist detail. Just a really classic, super flattering silhouette that I think is going to be amazing for summer. I love the color, kind of red and light pink I think is so fun, and just a really classic dress I feel like I'll get a lot of wear in my closet. Wedding season is gonna come back eventually, and this is going to be a dress that I'll be wearing to many a wedding in the future. And this was originally $98.99 and I got it for $30, so very good deal. The next item I got from my goodie box is just so good, and it is this amazing mustard yellow button down kind of bowler shirt, I would describe it. It kind of has a really nice draping to it. This is a shirt from a brand I've never actually bought anything for. It's from the Rachel Zoe brand from Bloomingdale's, and it's probably because this is a more premium item that I was able to get for just a really good price. I love short sleeve collared shirts. I love yellow, mustard, any type of yellow right now, and I just feel like this is a really classic cut that I will get a lot of wear out of as well. This was originally like $230 and I got it for $50, so definitely a much better price. I just think this is such a fun color for summer. Next up is just a classic crew neck top that also has like cute little yellow floral details, combining two of my requests, yellow and floral. And this is just a really lightweight and very soft floral crew neck. I love a crew neck. I'm wearing one right now. It's definitely my go-to piece outside, around the house, with shorts, with overalls. I just love layering these, especially in the summer. And I just really like how this has a fun floral print that kind of makes it more summery. This is definitely something I feel like I will get a lot of wear of as well, just given how much I'm a sucker for a soft long sleeve crew neck. So this was originally $30 and I got it for $15, so a solid 50% off score. And then the last item I have to show off is from Loft, which is also one of my favorite brands, particularly a great brand for working in the office, which might be coming back soon. And it is this guy. It's just this really lovely classic floral blouse. It's really lightweight, which makes it perfect for warmer weather, and it honestly drapes super nicely on. You'll see in the cutaway clip. I don't know, I just think it's really flattering, really classic, and I really like the smaller floral print. I think it's just, I don't know, eye-catching and nice. And this was also an incredible deal. This was originally $55 and I got it for $17, so definitely a good score on that end, and one I feel like will work well in my closet for a long time. Alrighty guys, those are the 5 things I got from my ThredUp goodie box. Again, I'll have a link to their goodie box service linked down below. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed my haul, and let's jump back into the rest of the vlog. Hi friends, so I wanted to do my first reading update of this vlog because I've read 100 pages of the ones we're meant to find, and so far it's definitely delivering what I wanted, but also adding some like unexpected things I didn't know I wanted, but I'm very, very into. So as I said, this is definitely a story of 2 sisters. You rotate between their perspectives, and it's definitely told in sort of a disjointed fashion in a way, mostly because you're sort of just thrown in and you're kind of trying to figure out the world. Also, what has happened that has separated these 2 sisters, because they're both kind of on a journey to locate each other, and also kind of figure out how they even got separated to begin with. So the first perspective, again, you follow is C, who is living on a deserted island, and she has lived there for a while. She doesn't know how she got there, she doesn't know where she is, and she does not know how to get back home. She also has amnesia. She also can only see in black and white. The only thing that she really remembers is glimpses of her sister and a sort of strong sense and responsibility to get back to her. She's also built an android. She's trying to build a boat, and she's kind of just trying to achieve this mission of getting off this deserted island. Her chapters are interesting because there's not very much world building in contrast to her sister's chapters, which has a lot going on, but they're fascinating because of this central mystery of like, why is she on this island? It seems unusual. Like, there's just elements of this experience, like hints as you kind of read and go along, that you're like, something feels off outside the obvious, if that makes sense. And then again, we also follow Casey, who is C's younger sister, and she is a little bit socially awkward. She kind of doesn't fit socially very well. She's a STEM genius, and in general she just has a hard time navigating like other people's emotions and reactions. That's something she's kind of constantly thinking about. And C and Casey's mind was very different. She had a lot of friends. She was always kind of the center of the party, where Casey kind of feels like she's on the outside. And at the beginning of her chapter, she's kind of trying to deal with the loss of her sister because she's sort of disappeared. No one knows where or how. And Casey currently lives on this floating city in the sky. So this is a futuristic Earth setting. And due to environmental factors, society has had to evolve in a way where they can continue to survive and not create any additional damage. An aspect of this society that is fascinating is these floating cities have kind of reached capacity, so it's very difficult to get into them, which has kind of created a society that values your ecological footprint as like the primary way you're rated, and you literally have a score based off of like how good you are ecologically speaking. And even if you and your family currently are being incredibly low impact, if your family's history in the past has a high impact, like you'll have a terribly low score. So I just thought that was an interesting component of this world, how people are kind of ranked and how, you know, important you are is based off of your ecological footprint. But yes, we follow Casey. She's in this floating city in the sky. She's from an important family. Obviously, C, her sister, has been missing. And at the beginning of this book, she's kind of confronting how she feels about that. She feels like she's reacting wrong and people are kind of looking at her in a way that's making her uncomfortable. And she's also starting to try to put pieces together to figure out what's happened, because she also feels obviously a strong pull of trying to locate her sister. So that's kind of like the opening of the book. I'm definitely going to try to be as vague as possible because I don't want to spoil anything, and I obviously feel like a large aspect of encountering this story is piecing all of these things together: the world, the characters, their points of view, even like what's going on in their lives. All very like windy, and I feel like this book is going to be just as much about the journey as the destination, if that makes sense. But the writing, the world, and this sort of sisterly component I'm really liking. And the 100 pages I read super quickly in the book has definitely drawn me in right away. The setting is very imaginative and interesting, and I'm excited to kind of see how it continues to break down. So yeah, read 100 pages. I'm definitely gonna read more today. I'm gonna take a break and make some lunch, so I'm going to do that now, but just wanted to let you know about my initial thoughts and feelings so far. So Clay is on one of his walking adventures. Bless him. So I have the afternoon to myself, which, as I mentioned, I plan on doing a bunch of reading, but I'm gonna watch some K-dramas. I'm about to make some lunch though. I have a craving for oatmeal, like really sweet, tasty oatmeal. So I'm gonna make a huge bowl of that for lunch. And I also have some cinnamon rolls in the fridge, and I might make those. I'm just craving brown sugar and maple syrup, you know. Just call me Goldilocks. I just love plain oatmeal. I don't know. It's just so good. The perfect Saturday. I think I'm gonna watch She Was Pretty. I'm still on episode 11. Though, has anyone watched Doom at Your Service? I know it's airing right now. I feel like people are a big fan. So let me know please down below if you're watching it. Afternoon cup of coffee, about to go watch the Butter music video for the 15th time. I'm having a wonderful Saturday. All right, friends, I am gonna sit down and do some more reading. Clay is back. Whoop, whoop. Why is this so hard? Clay is back from his walking adventure. He's playing Call of Duty. We're going to watch some Vincenzo tonight for sure, but I want to get more reading done. I'm trying to get over the 200 page mark by today, and then obviously do a bulk of my reading tomorrow as I normally do on a Sunday. But this book, again, reads super quickly, so I don't anticipate that being too much of an issue. So we're gonna read now. Every time I film a clip, Millie's just always staring at me. Hi, so I've successfully passed the 180 page mark of this book, and I have to say I am flying through this. It reads so quickly, and overall I'm really enjoying the structure of how the story is being told, as well as the two central characters. Again, this is following the story of two sisters, and it very much is centered both on their personal individual journeys as well as their relationship together. And I'm really loving how it's being explored, particularly because they're sisters and they're close, but their relationship also has tension. I'd say they both kind of view the other as exceptional and themselves lacking or hiding, and they admire kind of the opposite traits in each other. Casey, again, kind of has a hard time connecting and socializing with others, and her sister seems like a star, just exceptional at connecting, and just, she's dazzling. She has so many connections and she seems to be living life so fully. Versus C kind of feels she doesn't really fit in or belong as well as Casey does in the life that they have lived kind of previously on this floating city. Outside of the characters and their individual journeys, as well as their relationship as sisters, there's also, again, additional world building as we kind of get introduced to more of the sci-fi elements of the story. And we particularly see this through Casey's chapters, again, because she is residing on this floating city in the sky. So because space is very limited and because the world is not very easily inhabited, virtual reality is really big, and most people spend most of their time in a virtual space, and this is something Casey has always really enjoyed. She's also really skilled in science and technology, so she's really plugged in to virtual reality. Versus C always had trouble with this particular experience, and she always was kind of seeking and searching for kind of a real pre-virtual reality time, if that makes sense. But the story itself is definitely picking up in a really fascinating way as well. I would say because it has this dual narrative and this dual perspective, it's kind of allowing for a mashup of genres depending on whose point of view you're reading from. With C, you get very much a survival story of a girl trying to survive on a deserted island and also escape it, and her chapters really escalate with this urgency and passing of time. And there's also some surprises that she encounters on this island along the way, and because her memories are gone, as she begins to sometimes remember things, it kind of unveils a mystery component as well. Versus in Casey's chapters, it has more of a mystery element to it, as Casey is trying to uncover what happened to her sister, as well as there's this disjointed timeline that also makes the narrative tale really interesting. And I don't know the answer to the disjointed timeline, but some things just aren't matching up. But then also there are hints that the author provides that do begin to match up, and it really just makes the whole thing very engaging, which is why I'm reading it so quickly. Not to mention there are political as well as giant world environmental factors also beginning to impact the story that are very, very wild and very, very intense. All in all, I would say I feel like the author has successfully packed in quite a bit in one book. I mean, we have like sci-fi, thriller, survival, sisters. Like, I feel like I'm really encountering a lot, really wrapped up in really beautiful writing as well. I'm very, very engaged in the story. I truly have no idea where it's going, and I'm very curious to see how it continues to unfold. But I'm invested, to say the least. But I would say I think I'm at exactly the 50% mark, so I'll have no issue finishing this, obviously, by tomorrow, and I will keep you posted. But just wanted to give you guys a bit of an update and say, yeah, this book is pretty good so far. It has a lot going on, but I like it, and I have no idea where it's going. I wanted to show off that today was the first day I could wear overall shorts, so that's exciting. Also, Monica left me this Happy Ever After BTS video thing for me to borrow and watch, so just wanted to give her a shout out. Isn't this so cute? Anyway, I'm a mess. Welcome to my life now. It's a disaster. Time for dinner, and not Anna with an E, or Anne with an E, excuse me, but Vincenzo episode 8. I tell you guys, Vincenzo is just getting better and better and better with every episode. It's so good. I'm just loving it. But now it's time to sit in bed and get back to reading. I think I'll very easily surpass the 200-page mark tonight, as I only need to read 20 pages to do so. But yeah, I am gonna sit down now and read and probably go to bed. I'm really liking the ones we're meant to find. I'm really curious to see how this book is going to continue to unfurl. It's unusual, as I mentioned. I truly don't know where it's going, which is always kind of fun and refreshing in a book, where you're just kind of, I feel like I'm just going along for the ride, you know? But anyway, I am going to sit down and try to read as much as I can and then go to sleep, and I will see you guys in the morning. Hello world, cheers. Good morning. It is a bit of a cloudy day today. It's gonna be hot though. I think it's gonna be like 91 degrees. Who let that happen? It's still May. I wanted to say hello and also do a bit of a reading check-in. Let me set you up because I have read a lot of my book. So, hi. I have read to page 260 of this book, and I have about 100 pages left, and I can't really say much, but I will say things are getting wild. This world is just so interesting, and structurally how the author is releasing information, and because we're shifting between perspectives, it's just really satisfying when things begin to get pieced together. And yeah, it's good. Like, it's definitely good. Like, I can see why this book has kind of like a mystery thriller component to it, and I kind of felt that from the beginning because there's a lot of unanswered questions, but when things begin to be revealed, it's very satisfying. I personally have really enjoyed this ride. Haven't really been able to kind of catch things until they're like right on me, which is really satisfying too. And I still have 100 pages left, so there's a lot of stuff that I feel like is still going to happen within this book, and I can't wait for it. Some other elements too, I still feel like the sister component is just absolutely shining. I think the exploration of like their own personal feelings about themselves and kind of their insecurities that they reflect on their sister, I think is just really thoughtful. I just think the sister relationship is just really on point, if that makes sense, and just feels really real. Like their feelings they have for each other and the love they have for each other, but also the tension that they have for each other, I feel like just makes a lot of sense and is written really well within this story. And I also just like the title and the idea of this book, like The Ones We're Meant to Find. I just feel like the whole thing is like really beautiful and really dreamlike, and just honestly pretty intense. I want to be vague because I don't want to give anything away, but I'm really liking it, and I really obviously have no issue finishing this today. I only have 100 pages left, and then I'll switch to my second book. But this book has definitely, I don't want to say like surprised me because I anticipated liking this book, but I mean the story has surprised me, so I guess I can say that a bit. But definitely liking this, and I've read to page 260 so far, and I'll be finishing this later this morning, but I'm gonna do a bit of editing now. But just wanted to say hello, good morning, hi. You already know, Sunday bagel o'clock. I'm gonna miss New York bagels. Cheers friends, I have a fresh cup of coffee. I'm about to sit down and finish my book, put a dress on as it is a full scorcher outside, so cheers. Hi, I look a bit of a mess, but I finished my book. This was 371 pages, and I officially read all of it. And I can also say, what a journey. I feel like I can really speak to nothing about this book and plot, but it was really interesting, and it definitely culminated in a very unique way. I also kind of appreciated how not everything was like perfectly buttoned up. I feel like this book kind of left a lot for interpretation, which I think was purposeful because there is a lot of commentary on like humanity and choice and like what it means to be a person, freedom to live and choose how you want to be versus like giving things up for society is kind of like definitely chatted about pretty consistently within this series, as well as I just felt like all the reveals were really well paced, and I found the story itself to be very interesting, and I feel like there's a lot that you can kind of pick apart within this narrative, and I also just found it to be very unique. And I was very like entertained and plugged into this book the entire time while I was reading it, from honestly beginning to end. Like I just felt like the pacing and how the author kind of introduced us to the world and kind of introduced these questions, and how we kind of wove through this tale, shifting back and forth between the perspectives, was just very effective. And I don't know, I just found this to be rather enchanting, and I feel like I need to sit with it for a bit and let it kind of digest into my brain. Again, it's really like about the journey, not so much the destination. Well, both are important, but I would say the journey is just as important. So I personally would say this was really, really good. But yeah, I'm gonna sit with this for a while, maybe make some baked goods, and then start my second book later, but I need to like let this steep in my brain for a minute. But hey, I finished a book for 370 pages. Happy Sunday. All right, I'm still digesting that book. It was really good. Like, I think I'd give it like a 4.25. I feel like I haven't really read anything like that in a while. Like, it really like permeated my brain, you know? But as a coping mechanism, I'm now gonna go back to watching my K-pop idol competition show, and I'm gonna make my tiny roll of cinnamon rolls. Opening these, for some reason, I find to be very satisfying. So, ASMR. Whoop. Truthfully, this little mini roll is honestly great. It comes with just 5 cinnamon rolls, which is easier for Clay and I to eat as just 2 people. So, yeah, all right, going in the oven. Well, after it finishes preheating. Always a crowd pleaser, though I feel like I need to work on convincing Clay to make some homemade cinnamon rolls, but I'm always down for Pillsbury Doughboy as well. Little outdoor sushi moment. Round 2. Home from a big sushi outing. I'm honestly already so tired. It's like 7 o'clock. And so I've decided I'm gonna hang out in the bedroom for the rest of the evening, and I'm actually gonna start my second book of the vlog, Crown of Feathers, right now. I've already read over 370 pages, so I definitely think I'll be able to hit the 500 page mark of this tonight. So I'm gonna do some reading. I'm gonna watch some more of my competition show. Also, BTS performs Butter tonight, so I need to figure out when that's happening, or at least watch the performance on Twitter afterwards. So I gotta stay up late enough to watch that at the very least, but for now, reading. Really, what was my life before Vicky? Because I'm not even sure. Quick break to watch BTS's live performance. Butter performance is done. Matilda was a big fan. She's a Jimin bias, you know, as it goes. But I also wanted to do a reading check-in for Crown of Feathers, which is the second book for this reading vlog, and is actually a reread for me. I want to carry on with the rest of the series this year, so I gotta reread book 1 to do so. But I'm looking forward to this, and I feel like this book pairs well with the ones we're meant to find, because this story also centers sisters. This is a high fantasy novel, so plot-wise they're very dissimilar, but it does center a sister relationship, and I personally like encountering those in stories, but I also feel like both these books handle that particular dynamic really well. Particularly Crown of Feathers opens on 2 sisters who are orphaned and they're living together. And again, this is a fantasy world where warrior queens once ruled with powerful phoenix riders, but that regime or empire has been overthrown and a new power is in place, and anyone kind of connected to those warrior queens are basically like sought out and killed. So they've been in hiding, but they're also training really hard to hatch their own phoenixes so they can kind of bring back the female phoenix riders. You quickly realize that while they have this joint goal and also a childhood and life growing up together, there's a lot of tension between the 2 sisters, and particularly one sister tends to harbor some animosity and some jealousy towards the other, and their relationship is very complicated, and you kind of quickly get that sense from the beginning of this book. And 50 pages in as well, it's very focused on them in the beginning, and then again them trying to achieve these phoenixes, but then ultimately they actually part ways, and we primarily follow one of the sisters as she disguises herself as a boy to join the current ranks of the Phoenix Riders, which in this new regime can only be men, and kind of like men in charge, men in the military, that sort of thing. and that's kind of where I'm at now. But it's really interesting to kind of compare and contrast the sister relationships between both of these books I'm reading. But yes, so far definitely so good with this book. Outside of the characters and just kind of the tense introduction between these two sisters, the world is really interesting. The writing is just as good as I remember in terms of capturing my attention. I also feel like there's some really good subtle world building. There's no info dumping, but it still feels like it's going to be a really well plotted fantasy world, like expansive and interesting. But yeah, so I'm so far really liking this reread. I've read about 50 pages, so I'm gonna try to read at least 50 or 60 more pages tonight before I inevitably fall asleep, as it usually happens. I'm planning on continuing to read this book throughout the week, obviously, and I'm also planning to vlog, so I'll probably feature this more in depth in my next reading vlog. But I am going to sit down now and get to reading. Yeah, all right, that's my initial thoughts and feelings. Hi friends, and welcome to the end of the vlog. The next day, I wanted to quickly pop in and wrap up everything I was able to read over the course of this weekend. I was able to get just past the 100-page mark last night, and this book is definitely capturing my attention very quickly with this reread. One, I've already spoken on the sister relationship, which I find to be really, really interesting. The love and the tension, and also just their overall personality differences, I feel like are just an interesting dynamic within this world. But the story is actually multi-perspective, and we follow other individuals impacted by the politics that are also present within this world. Particularly, there are magic users that are very much ostracized or even killed off by society. Essentially, it is a remnant of the last regime, and anyone associated with them, which magic users are very quickly arrested. And one of the other main characters we follow is a magic user in hiding named Sev. Also follow another character named Tristane. Everyone again begins to become more intertwined as all of their stories begin to intersect, which is always really, really satisfying. But overall, I'm really, really liking this. It's definitely a really interesting world, and I feel like the characters are really well fleshed out, at least so far. I'm going to be continuing this read into my next vlog, so I'll definitely have more thoughts and feelings then, but I did want to give you some initial ones now. And then of course the other book I was able to read from beginning to end was The Ones We're Meant to Find by Joan He, which I really, really enjoyed. I felt like this was a really unique and interesting sci-fi thriller YA novel. Kept me on the edge of my seat the entire time. It kept me guessing the entire time. And another book that really centered a sister relationship in a really interesting way. It's a great new release. I would highly recommend checking it out. All in all, for this vlog, I was able to read just under 500 pages, which I am pretty jazzed about. And again, big shout out to this video sponsor, which is ThredUp. I will have a link to their goodie boxes down below. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon with another one soon. Goodbye.